Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to a special edition of Triad Today. Over the next half hour, we'll salute and look back at some of the outstanding nonprofit agencies in our area who have appeared on the show earlier this year. Let's watch. What we want to start is talking about the hunger problem in our area, what we're doing to abate it with our good friend, Eric Aft, who is CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina. Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be with you, Jim.
Remind folks who might have just moved into the area what the mission of the food bank is.
Well, at Second Harvest Food Bank, we address the immediate challenge of hunger in our region, which unfortunately is substantial, as well as we work to address root causes wherever we can through job training, nutrition education, and other programming.
We're trying to get back to normal from the pandemic, although it's still with us, but trying to subside. But I guess, people would expect that the question I'm going to ask you is, gee, what did the pandemic do to us? Rather than ask that, my question is, the hunger problem was bad before the pandemic. So where are we now?
Yeah, that's really true. Folks don't realize that hunger is a reality here in Northwest North Carolina. It was about 1 in 5 children face uncertainty where their next nutritious meal is coming from, and 1 in 7 individuals overall. Now, the numbers for kids are about where they were pre-pandemic, but that's an unacceptable level. Overall, it's about 1 in 6, so it's still at a little bit of a heightened challenge. And unfortunately, we're seeing a sharp increase in requests for assistance right now.
And how are you trying to meet that need?
Yeah, one of the things that all of us have dealt with are supply chain issues, going to the grocery store, going to seek other items that we need in our household. And that's a reality for us. So we're having to purchase more food than ever before. Literally, pre-pandemic, we were using about $400,000 to purchase food, and we're on track once again to have another year where we're spending about $4 million to purchase food.
$4 million.
That's
Good
exactly
grief,
right.
Eric. Now, how is, I know you have the new headquarters coming underway, and how is that coming along, and what's that going to allow you to do additionally?
It is coming along very well. There's great excitement on our team. Every time I drive on the lot and see 18 refrigerated trucks and know that we have off-site storage, we know that we are in desperate need of this facility. But the bottom line is that more nutritious food, more job training, more involvement opportunities for the community, more nutrition education, and more impact by Second Harvest is what the new facility will bring.
Yeah, not that we rehearse this or anything, but I recall you telling me one time before that in the past, in the old days, it was always, well, let's collect canned goods. Let's collect non-perishables. But with the new headquarters and other things that you're doing, you're going to be able to do what, more produce and stuff?
That's exactly right. That's the heart of what we all eat. It's the healthiest items, produce, frozen and fresh items, and we'll more than double our cold storage capacity at the new place. And again, that just means that we'll be able to get healthier items out to our community.
I heard you guys are doing something called the Summer Match. What is that?
It is. During the summer, kids are out of school. Sometimes when kids are in school, that is the main meals that they get during the day.
Right.
So we want to step up our efforts, and we want the community to join us in that. And we've got a number of generous donors who have said, we're going to match dollar for dollar up to $350,000 to help with summer hunger needs. And so anybody can join with Second Harvest to match those donor dollars and help even more.
People could be listening to this segment saying, well, gee, Eric, sounds like you got everything under control. Does the community still need to really support you?
Well, the fact that we're investing more money than ever to purchase food, we have to continue that. And we need that investment from the community to make it possible. The supply chain issues makes it more difficult for us to secure food on a timely basis. So again, those investments, whether it be money or food donations,
right.
Are desperately needed.
Need
they
both
really
of them. Up on screen, this is how you can help us learn more about what Eric is talking about. Second Harvest, NWNC. Of course, that stands for Northwest North Carolina. I'll say it again. Second Harvest, NWNC.org. Please check that out. It gives you all sorts of information about the food bank, about their mission, about all the good work they're doing, and how you can help. Eric, thanks for all you do.
Jim, thanks. We appreciate you and the community.
All right, man. We'll be right back after this. I want to start is talking about middle school students, a skills gap, and those kind of things with an expert in the field. With me right now, Chris Huntley is manager of middle school programs for Say Yes Guilford. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Homegrown man from Greensboro, as we found out off camera, and good to have you. And we hear about this skills gap. In fact, you emailed me something about it. So what is it? Why does it exist? What do you mean by it?
Well, to be honest, the skills are there. We believe that the Guilford County Schools students have the skills. What we're trying to do is expose them to how to put those skills together with the opportunities that we're hopefully exposing them to.
Now, how is Say Yes Guilford really addressing that? Give me an example. How are you addressing that to try to fight the skills gap to accomplish that?
One of the ways that we're doing that is with one of our projects, which is U-Science. We've given this assessment to our students in Guilford County schools now since October, November, this past fall. And the students get a chance to take several brain teasers, if you will, to kind of really hone in on what those skills are. We've all seen some of those students who are great at doing puzzles, great at doing certain things with equations and math. And we try to expose them with those particular careers earlier on so they get a chance to see what opportunities are there.
Really nurture them. If they have those kind of interests early on, then you can nurture them, and then that grows into something, right?
It grows into something very tremendous.
There's something else you emailed me about. I want to find out about it. You said that there's a perfect pitch program. You called it the perfect pitch for middle schoolers. What is that all about?
We are currently using our pilot schools to an Entrepreneur I Am project, which is allowing 4 schools to challenge a problem, whether it be a product, whether it be a problem in business, to find a solution to. Kind of like a Shark Tank feel, if you will. And that allows the students to learn about entrepreneurship, learn about how to solve problems, and therefore, at the end of the pilot, we're hoping to have what we call that perfect pitch to see who can present the best out of those pilot schools.
That'll be great. That'll be great. And this, again, for middle schoolers.
Correct.
Right, okay. Now, I think you also said there's a new tool that you're rolling out that is going to benefit middle school students. What is that? When will it start? What are we talking about?
Very excited about our mobile innovation lab. It is coming before the end of this year. It is a mobile innovation lab bus that we are having fitted to do some STEM work, some hands-on opportunities for our students. We know that students have an interest in STEM. We know our students have an interest in several opportunities out there, but can't get to that particular destination. So we're going to bring that to them.
Wow. Now, I know you'll come back sometime and tell us more about it, but you're talking about outfitting this with things that are sort of like its own classroom type thing?
Correct. There will be curriculum opportunities. We will actually take this and the students will have not only the opportunity to learn, but also put together whatever that particular project is.
I just think that's super. I can't wait to hear more about that. Now, on a personal note, why are you so passionate about working with, helping, and nurturing middle school students?
As a former educator and coach in high school, I always found students, when they got to me, I felt like they could have learned so much more or been prepared. We hear a lot of students who are not ready for that next level, whether it be career or college.
Right.
And I feel like middle school is that bridge to really figuring out how and where they want to go, whether that is college, whether that is career. And there's a lot of opportunities that we can get our students into if we keep them on that track.
What was I used to hear an old fellow talk about, an old educator who said, if you miss the opportunity of working with kids when they're in the 7th and 8th grade, you can lose them.
I fully believe that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so thankful and happy to be in the position that I am.
Well, you're working for the right organization and the right CEO and president, and Wendy. Wendy's going to be on the show later on in the roundtable, so we'll hear from her. Look up on screen, sayyesguilford.org, and remember to put 2 Y's in there when you type it in, sayyesguilford.org, for all sorts of great information. Homegrown Chris Huntley doing a great job. Continue, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and an appropriate time of the year, well, actually any time of the year is appropriate to talk about heart health and caring for heart patients, and there's different ways you can do that. And we're going to speak with a young lady who's been with us before. We're so glad she's back. And we're going to talk about a special kind of cardiac care. With me right now, our good friend Christy Sharpa, who's Senior Director of Practice Management for Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You sent me an email saying that we wanted to talk a little bit about something called advanced cardiac care. Now, what is that exactly?
Well, for our hospice patients who join our program, those folks have a special set of circumstances and symptoms. They can often be feeling okay and get real uncomfortable really quickly. So we want to be able to address those symptoms really quickly. So we've joined with American Heart Association and National Partnership for Hospice Innovation to create a program where we can have certain medications and responses set up in the home, so we can quickly address symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, and keep those folks out of the hospital, home, comfortable, and resolve that discomfort quickly.
Now, why is there such a focus from your standpoint on heart failure?
Well, it's just so pervasive. It's so common. You'd be hard-pressed to meet someone who doesn't know someone who has it or has it themselves. So heart disease is the #1 killer in our country. And on the journey of this illness, you have so many symptoms, and you have to change your lifestyle and sometimes your diet, and it affects your personhood. And so on the hospice portion of the journey, we're just really wanting to help people live as well as they can, with their symptoms managed, to feel well, to have some energy, to be able to enjoy life, and keep them out of the hospital is the key.
Yeah. Now who's qualified to actually get into your program, though? How do you decide that?
So anyone who's appropriate for hospice. So these are folks that have more end-stage heart failure, perhaps a prognosis of 6 months or less, although that's not firmly delineated. But we figure that out in conjunction with the patient's cardiologist, with their primary care doctor. We look at their medical record, at their illness journey, and figure out if they are hospice appropriate. And then of that population, we look at the folks who have this advanced cardiac disease and put together these special medication packets and just some extra special nursing support.
Yeah. Now, if I have an elderly parent who maybe is a candidate for hospice but also has heart problems, would she or he be able to keep their cardiologist they've been seeing?
Yes, absolutely. We work hand in hand with the cardiologist. Oftentimes our patients will become really comfortable with us, and it's tiring to run back and forth to the cardiologist and all these different appointments. But so we'll just see the patient, but we can be the eyes and ears for the cardiologist and reach out to them and collaborate as to whether or not a certain medication maybe should be tweaked or changed. So it is a partnership.
I think that's great that everybody's teaming up. Okay, now I promised I want to talk about this downloadable patient guide. I think we even have a graphic on this. What does this downloadable patient guide tell us?
So it's information for the patient and the caregiver, everything from soup to nuts about what is heart failure, what is it doing in your body, what are the symptoms, what are the medications used to treat, what are some health interventions you can do from a dietary standpoint or weighing yourself daily to help ward off uncomfortable symptoms. It's kind of a user's guide, if you will, and we have it in English and in Spanish.
And easy to download.
Easy to download and easy to understand.
Even for a non-tech guy like me, I can download it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, why are you laughing? You know. All right. Now, also I want to show the general website, mtnvalleyhospice.org. MTN stands for Mountain Valley, hospice.org. Check that out. There's also a number on screen. Chrissy, thanks for all you do and for the folks and families you help.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this. Start is talking about youth grant makers. Find out all about that with two very special guests. On my right, Shaheen Tolles is Director of Communications for Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation, and she has brought along a special guest of her own. Katie Sonny-Lee is Manager of Strategic Initiatives for the Winston-Salem Foundation. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm going to ask each of you the same first questions just to sort of break the ice. We'll start with you, Shaheen. Just remind people, what's the mission of the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation?
Sure. Well, the mission of the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation is to improve the quality of life for all North Carolinians.
All right. Same question for you, Katie.
Sure. The mission of the Winston-Salem Foundation is to make sure that everyone in Forsyth County is thriving.
And people might be wondering, hey, we don't normally see two of the foundations seated together talking about things, but that's exactly kind of the important point of this conversation, Shaheen. Tell us about this partnership that the two foundations have in relationship to the Youth Grant Makers Program, and we'll let Katie go into more detail in a minute, but But tell us about the impetus of this partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation has been proud to partner with the Winston-Salem Foundation's initiative of Youth Grant Makers in Action. For the past 5 years, we've provided mini grants to YGA, and really excited for Katie to tell us more about the initiative.
Yeah, Katie, let's learn more from folks maybe that haven't kept up with it. What is the Youth Grant Makers all about?
So Youth Grant Makers is an opportunity for youth in our community to build leadership and to engage in their community, to support youth-led work and youth-led projects that benefit youth. So it's rare that youth are able to make all these decisions for themselves and for their peers. Usually adults are there telling them what to do.
When I was growing up, that was a big thing to complain about. You know, you go to city council, hey, it's you old guys are making all the decisions but not in this.
No, I'm there, but I just do all the administrative work, doing the emails and scheduling, but they're the ones making decisions. So each year we have about 20 youth that come together, and it's based on an academic year, so it follows their school. And they come together to decide what kind of projects they want to fund, and then they put a request for proposals out themselves, they advertise, they spread the word, and then when all those proposals come back in, they read through each and every one, meet with each group, and then decide which ones they want to fund based on the available funds that we have, which are so much more thanks to ZSR.
Yeah.
It's been a great partnership.
Yeah,
We couldn't fund all the groups we wanted to without them.
No, and so we're talking about youth sort of making decisions about what's important to youth, and that makes a lot of sense. Any new or recent initiatives we should know about?
It's been busy lately, yes. We just made our grant decisions for this year. I say we, I should say them.
Yeah.
They just made the grant decisions for this year, so we were able to fund 7 youth-led projects that benefit youth in Forsyth County with almost $7,000. So that was really exciting to see in the youth, watching them go through that process and seeing empowered them and help them gain leadership skills, to see how that works was really great. And it teaches them that they can be philanthropists too. You don't have to be a millionaire or Bill Gates.
Right.
It can be anyone. And then right now we also have the application open for people that want to participate in the fall in our new session. So that's all on our website at wsfoundation.org/YGA.
And we will put up the general website in just a second. But before we do that, before time runs out, Katie, and really this is for both of you, why is this program so important to the community? Shaheen, I'll start with you.
Well, I think as Katie mentioned, I mean, it's a way for students and young people to really see what's going on in the community and to be young philanthropists, and to really actively take part in making decisions that are going to benefit young people.
Yeah, and you're shaking your head yes.
Absolutely. For them to be able to have these funds to make the decisions about what they want to fund, and the projects are youth-led. We actually don't allow adults in the interview. It's all the youth.
Wow.
I know. And then they get to make decisions on projects that will benefit youth too. It's all about the youth, and it teaches them that they can be a philanthropist, whether it's with their time, their talent, or their treasure to benefit their community.
I like to think of myself as a youth. I might come in and get in that whole thing. Up on screen, wsfoundation.org is a general website, but you added to that the
/YGA.
YGA. You can do a /YGA or get to the regular general website. And ZSR.org is a general website for Z. Smith Reynolds. Ladies, thanks for all you do for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this. I want to start, though, is talking about free clinics. What an important topic. With one old friend who's been on the show before. Next to me is Randy Jordan. He's CEO of the North Carolina Association of Free and Charitable Clinics. And Randy's special guest is Tim Klein. He's Executive Director for Community Care Center of Forsyth County. Welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Randy, I'm going to start with you. Just for folks that may not know or just moved in the area, that's sort of a complex question here. What's your mission? How many clinics are in the network? Who do you serve?
Thank you, Jim. We're glad to be with you again today. North Carolina's Free and Charitable Clinics represent 72 different clinic sites across the state, from the mountains to the coast. We exist for the purpose of taking care of folks that don't have insurance. So primary care, dental care, behavioral health, sometimes specialty care, that's what we do. And so when someone who doesn't have insurance needs to go to the doctor, we're an alternative to the emergency room.
Tim, let me ask you, how much, let's hone in on Forsyth County in your area of concern. How much of a need is there for free medical care?
There's a huge need because there are so many folks who are uninsured and are economically disadvantaged. Most people are surprised to learn that our patients, most of them are employed. Many of them are frontline workers. They work in grocery stores, restaurants, they're housekeepers, they're in a retail environment.
So either they're not making a lot of money or they've been laid off recently and back in the workplace, but you're saying basically they're employed and you would think that, hey, they're fully covered.
Absolutely. Many of them are working part-time, multiple part-time jobs to put together a family income. And so many of those individuals don't have access to employer-paid health insurance.
Right, and how many clinics do you operate in Forsyth?
We're one site, but there are a total of 6 free clinics within Forsyth County.
Randy, how has the pandemic affected your overall mission and sort of mention state funding in that mix?
Yeah, well, first of all, we recognize the pandemic has affected everybody. But for free and charitable clinics, it's been devastating because what happened is what we call the triple whammy. We saw an increase in patients due to newly unemployed folks who lost their health insurance. We saw volunteers drop off their ability to volunteer because they had risk of going into the clinic itself.
Right.
That caused us to then have to hire new staff, which increased the cost of the clinic. And so the triple whammy part is that we had to stop our fundraisers because of social distancing during the pandemic.
That's right.
So very, very troubling economic, human resource circumstance for our clinics. But
is the state helping at all?
The state has helped us tremendously, and I want to commend the General Assembly and Governor Cooper for an appropriation last year of over $14 million and a new appropriation in the new budget of $15 million that will help us sustain these clinics.
Tim, similar question. How is your organization weathering the pandemic, because we're still in the throes of it, and what does support mean from folks like Kate B. Reynolds?
A great question. As you might imagine, during the pandemic, we lost a number of our volunteers, which are an important part of us providing care within the free clinic world. And because of that, we've had to increase our paid staff, and fundraising has been a challenge. So we are fortunate within this community that we have some good partners. Novant Health provides us our facility for $1 a year and some additional funds. We've already mentioned about the funds from the state. So we're very fortunate that we've been able to continue to serve our patients.
We have about 30 seconds left. I don't want to let you leave until you mention something about a task force coming up.
Yeah, the Free Clinic Association has focused on health equity like a lot of other healthcare providers in the state. And today we're publicly announcing our Health Equity Task Force. So happens that Tim is one of our 29 members. And we're going to do our best to be sure that every citizen in the state gets a fair chance for good health.
I want to talk about those health disparities. Maybe we can get the two of you back and go in depth on that.
We'd love to.
Up on the screen, ncafcc.org is a website you can check out. Also, carecenter.org, you can check that out. And our big thanks to Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust for all their support and help, not just to free clinics, but all sorts of organizations around the area, kbr.org. Well, that's it for this special edition of Triad Today. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.